Welcome to Franklin Pierce University's virtual career conversations. And today we have a very special guest. Our guest is Erin Schutte. And I know that I did not complete your last name, Wadzinski, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And she is the principal, owner, and attorney of KIVU Law, located in Worthington, Minnesota. So welcome, Schutte.
Hey, Pierre, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. And I want to fully disclose to everyone who might be watching or listening that Erin was my former boss at Yale Young Global Scholars Program, who went on to become an immigration attorney. And so that's why I thought I'd bring her on today. She's been very involved with causes of helping those who are either disproportionately underrepresented within education communities and helping those in need. So I'm really, really glad that she's here. So we're going to go right on in to our conversation, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So first of all, the name, KIVU Law. Can you tell us what you do? How did you even get the name? And what's the purpose or goals of your organization?
KIVU Immigration Law is an immigration law firm that I founded earlier this year. I had been working for a nonprofit organization practicing immigration law in my hometown of Worthington, Minnesota. And I recently received a fellowship to start my own social enterprise. So that is how KIVU Immigration Law came to be. I named the law firm KIVU because KIVU is a region in East Africa, and there's a Lake Kivu that is one of Africa's Great Lakes. And I visited Lake Kivu a few years ago, and it was just a very special, serene place to me. And it's an area that holds a special place in my heart. I didn't want to name my law firm a typical name like Erin Schutte LLC or something like that, because it's not a typical law firm. It's a social enterprise. It's aimed at providing affordable, high quality legal representation to immigrants from all financial backgrounds. So that somewhat unique name, I think, fits the unique nature of my firm.
Oh, interesting. KIVU. The next time I'm in somewhere on the continent of Africa, I'll have to look up, where's KIVU located again?
It's on the border of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay, all right. I don't know where those are, but I'm sure I could find it if I was ever to go there. I appreciate that. It sounds like you do a lot of good. What are the skill sets that you feel support success, your success, anyone's success, when practicing immigration law?
I think that there are perhaps three big skill sets that I use on a day-to-day basis. The first is a sense of open-mindedness, where everyone who walks through my door is someone who has a story that is worth sharing, and having that sense of humankind and respect to anyone who walks in the door with questions and there for a purpose is someone who is worth listening to. And I love hearing the stories of my clients each and every day. They are who energize me and keep me going. I wouldn't work as hard as I do if it wasn't for them. So that sense of just open-mindedness and coming to an appointment with a sense of a keen sense of listening and wanting to understand someone is really important in my kind of work. Another skill is problem solving. So as with many kinds of career, immigration law is one where you are having to problem solve each and every day, because sometimes people come with very difficult situations. And also in today's political climate, it is not favorable or easy for someone to apply for an immigration benefit and easily just be successful in it. And so I'm having to use the facts and the stories that I hear and apply them to the law. And that creates a need for problem solving and critical thinking to find the best options available for my clients. And then I think one other skill that's really important is attention to detail. I fill out forms each and every day that are then mailed off to immigration, and one mistake can have a detrimental effect on my clients' lives. And I need to check and recheck to make sure that the forms are detailed and accurate, and that there are no issues before submitting them. And so that's just a nuts and bolts skill that I practice each and every day.
Wow. So I sort of wrote down some of the things that you said, because I want to make sure that our students and our alums really understand the skill sets that make someone successful within this field. And I'm just going to reiterate them now. The first one, like you said, is detail-oriented, having a orientation towards the minute, the important, and the details is really important to succeed. Otherwise, there might be a huge issue. The other one is active listening skills, making sure that you ask questions if you don't understand something, and being open-minded enough to sit with the story and listen for the details of the story, or things that may come across to you that may help you relate their story to the law, as you said. The other thing is having a global orientation, which means, I guess that's part of being attentive and being interested and curious about other people's stories, no matter where they come from or how foreign those experiences might be from your own, having a global orientation. The last thing I heard, which I don't know if it's the main one or not, but critical thinking, or as you called it, problem solving. And so being able to think critically and to dissect information and to verify information and to understand how those relate to other things that you've heard and to the law is quite needed as well. So did I sort of hit that on the head?
You did. Good job.
Thanks.
Good job listening and paying attention to detail, Pierre.
Thank you. I wanted you to sort of, you kind of alluded to some of the things that you've had to pay attention to and sort of be good at in order to be successful in what you do. Talk to the student who is considering going into immigration law, or any type of law for that matter. Tell these undergraduate students, give them some advice on maybe activities that they should be doing, classes that they may want to take, organizations that they may want to join, books that they may want to read. Any advice you can give our students?
Sure. Well, after completing a 4-year bachelor's degree, or some people complete a bachelor's degree in a rather like untraditional sense, then after that comes law school. And typically law school is a 3-year full-time program, but I did things a little bit differently, and I went to law school part-time at night over the course of 4 years. And I did that while working full-time. And I think that there are a lot of things that one can work towards to be successful in law school, but there's really no special formula. I think that there are a lot of paths and a lot of experiences that can prepare someone for law school or a career in immigration law. I think things that would be particularly helpful would be, keeping up on immigration policies and the news, and having a sense of what is going on in the world of immigration. Just that can be as simple as just being an informed citizen, or perhaps getting involved at the grassroots or advocacy level and volunteering at a detention center or in court, or down at the border. I know there are a lot of volunteer opportunities, or even just in your own neighborhood, if there are a lot of if you live in a diverse or immigrant heavy neighborhood or a city, where you can just get to know people and listen to their stories. Having a sense of how immigration has impacted individuals can really give you a good perspective than when you study immigration law from a textbook sitting in the classroom. Another really valuable skill set is language skills. And many of my clients are not proficient in English, and so we require an interpreter. And I think that if I had one superpower, it would be able to like speak an infinite number of languages, because I think that would be such a helpful skill. But even if you can, even if you're proficient in 2 languages, that can go a really, really long ways in the field of immigration law.
Wow. Okay, that was a lot. And I really do appreciate the part where you said get to know them, understand them. I also appreciated the part where you spoke about being an informed citizen, specifically in the areas of advocacy and community work. But that getting to know them, I think, is really crucial, because when you get to know someone, it's hard to, number one, hate them, right? It's hard to categorize them as the other. And getting to know someone that, or a culture of people, would really assist someone in understanding what they're actually going to, so that you can be a much more effective advocate for them. So I do appreciate that. Do you accept, so you're a small firm, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you accept job shadows or interns, maybe not in the formal sense, but is your firm able to take someone who may be in your area for the summertime and may go to Franklin Pierce, but they go back to Minnesota, who just wants to do a ride along with you, or to see a couple of hours of a day in the life? Have you thought about doing that, or is that something you offer?
Yes, it's something that I hope to incorporate into our office in the near future. So due to COVID-19, we really haven't been open for business for very long. I moved into my office this spring, but we have yet to meet clients in person. So we're really getting things up and off the ground, but I'm a huge believer in education and learning by doing. And so it's going to be very important to me that I can help train and give experience to the next generation of leaders. So yes, it's something that I am very open to and excited about, because I'm very passionate about working with others who are equally excited as I am about serving immigrant communities.
Wonderful. Okay, so keep me posted as to when those opportunities or an opportunity might come up in your area. We do have students that come from across the country. Before we wrap up our conversation, I want to just ask you, is there anything that you would like to comment on or say that we haven't already touched on?
I could talk on and on about my, excuse me, about my career journey and the work that I do in immigration law. But I think
yes, please. No. I actually, I know that. Look, if we have to cut it, we'll have to cut it. But I am interested, and I think our students might want to know, what does a day in the life, or maybe a week in the life, kind of look like for you, and what has been your career journey, if you don't mind.
Sure. So a day in the life. I'm going to say a day in the life outside of a global pandemic, because
Right.
my routine is a little bit different and not ideal right now, because typically my day centers around meeting with clients. I typically would have 2 consultations a day. That means meeting with 2 new people who I have not met before. And we'll do one meeting in the morning, and then I'll have another one scheduled in the afternoon. And that will be an initial consultation.
Can we
And
stop there
that,
for just a moment?
mhm.
How do you find those new consultations? How do you drum up business? Is it word of mouth? Do you do your own marketing?
I do my own marketing. We we've seen that word of mouth is probably the number one way to get clients, and then Facebook is another really good tool to reach people. And I'll occasionally, boost a Facebook post here or there. KIVU Law has its own Facebook page, so people can like it. So I encourage you to like KIVU Immigration Law Facebook page if you're interested in following the happenings of KIVU Law. And, I use that platform to help create awareness and to educate people about the changing world of immigration law. So, if I can make one more citizen informed about some of the challenges that people face as foreign-born residents in the U.S., I consider that a success. And people, I think, over time, you will see KIVU Law as a reputable source for affordable, quality, kind legal representation. And, that I think will go a really long ways in terms of long-term sustainability of my law firm. So people will call and ask for an appointment, and they'll be scheduled to meet with me and a legal assistant. And in that initial consultation, I just let people, I get to know them. I typically have kind of a set of questions, so information that I definitely want to gather, but then there's all, it's a conversation, and it flows. So typically it's about 45 minutes, and by the end of the conversation, I have a sense of whether or not they have an immigration case that I can assist them with. Sometimes they don't have a legal remedy available, and that's tough when I just say, unfortunately, there's nothing that the legal system can do for you right now. And then they sometimes face a very tough decision that impacts them and their families and this community. But
You
if
provide
they're
them with resources in the community that might be able to assist them, right?
Yes, whether some sort of assistance or resources. um, Being in a fairly small community, it's sometimes there are limiting factors, but at the same time, I can put people directly in touch with individuals who I know who can hopefully assist them. So there are pros and cons to living in a small community, but we work with that. But if someone has a case that I can assist them with, then we would set up a second appointment. And in the meantime, we would be getting a representation agreement signed, and I would begin working on their application. We sometimes have to collect evidence and get documentation from them. So there's always a responsibility on the client to help move their application and their case forward. But by hiring an attorney, the attorney is the driving force. We have the roadmap. We know how to, operate the vehicle, if you're thinking about the driving analogy. And it's just important that the client gets in the car with us and is on board. So, sometimes we can complete an application in just a week or two, and it gets submitted off to the government for processing, and then it's just up to immigration or up to my law firm to monitor the case. Other times, we will be working with a client actively for months to get documents prepared, applications created, and we'll submit an application that's 3 inches thick of printed paper off to the government and await results. So each case type varies, but ultimately it all starts with an initial consultation, and then we proceed accordingly based on the type of immigration case they have.
Wow. Okay. It sounds to me that there's so much detailed work. Excuse me. I want to express that, or I want to punctuate that. that there sounds to me like a lot of detailed work. Um, it also sounds to me like there might be an opportunity, and I wink at you, for someone to who can support your social media and your marketing efforts remotely at some time in the future.
That's an interesting idea.
So I know a little bit about your career journey, but I'd like to learn more. So I think you've had an untraditional, like you didn't come out and start working for a big high-powered law firm in New York or anything. So tell our listeners, what was your career journey?
Sure. So I grew up on a farm in rural Minnesota, and interestingly, my career has kind of taken me full circle because I'm now living and working in my hometown where I grew up. But I left Worthington when I was 18 to attend college at Yale, and that was I can't even say a dream come true because I never really dreamt it. I never imagined it would be a reality, but I graduated from Yale with a degree in political science, and I took a one-year fellowship following college graduation, actually at Yale University, to work in the Office of International Affairs. And that one-year fellowship actually turned into 6 years working at Yale in the Office of International Affairs at the Yale Young Global Scholars Program. And that's where I met Pierre, and he and I were colleagues for a number of years. He was one of my first colleagues as I was graduating college. So we have lots of fond memories in the Office of International Affairs. But 4 of those 6 years working at Yale, I was also going to law school. And I attended law school at UConn in Hartford, Connecticut, because they had a special program for untraditional students who wanted to take classes in person only at night. So that's what I did. And I studied on the weekends, I studied before work, and then after work drove up to Hartford to attend class 4 nights a week from like 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay, I'm going to stop you here because she's not audience. She's not giving you the full meat of what she did, and I'm going to tell you real quickly. This woman would go to work, and she would work 70 hours a week or more as the director of an international program at Yale University. Then she would go to school at night and I just don't know how you did it. So although you are telling us your story, I don't want to gloss over the amount of hard work and pure sheer determination and dedication it takes. It took her to reach her goal. So that being said, I just wanted to give everyone the real digs on it. All right, please continue.
Well, thank you, Pierre. I did work very hard, and I think that I worked really hard because I loved what I did. And if you find something you love, you're willing to work hard towards its goals. So I was very fortunate to find a job that I really loved and was dedicated to and wanted to work hard for. So, and that's something that, it might not be your first job right out of college, but you can find it. And once you find it, you'll realize that you found some inner strength or motivation that really helps you achieve your full potential. And it just it might take some time, so don't be afraid to explore different career options if that's what you need to do. But once you find your fit, you will know that you find your fit.
I want to, yeah, go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to then kind of transition to after law school, how I wound up in my hometown again. But I was, because typically one of the reasons some people choose not to go to law school is because it's very expensive. And, you're typically taking out significant loans, $100,000, $200,000 to pay for your professional education. And then you're forced into a career after law school that will pay you enough to be able to pay back your loans. Well, when I was considering whether or not I wanted to go to law school, I thought about, well, what are my ultimate goals? And my ultimate goals was not to work for a big firm, earning six figures, doing a type of law that really I didn't feel passionate about. And so I thought, well, is there a way that I could get a law degree but not go into such debt where I would feel, I would be indebted, have to take a job that then I would just be able to pay it back, and then what would I get out of it? So part of my decision-making process of doing what I did was I went to a state school. So I was able to get in-state tuition by attending University of Connecticut to make the tuition less expensive. I also, had worked hard in college, and my grades showed it, and I was able to get a scholarship through UConn to cover the cost of 1 year's worth of tuition. So then I was responsible for paying my in-state tuition for years 2, 3, and 4 for my part-time law degree. And because I was working full-time while going to law school, I was actually able to save money and pay tuition as I went. And I never had to actually take out any loans to attend law school. So that really gave me the freedom then to think, what kind of job, in what area of the legal world am I really passionate about? And I did not feel tied to go into a career just to pay back my loans. So immigration law was an area of law that I didn't really put my finger on until my third year of law school. And it was really kind of the nexus between law and global affairs, which is what I was kind of working on in my my day job. And immigration law was just kind of a good combination or application to global affairs in the law. So this was in 2016 when there was a major presidential election, and immigration really came to the forefront of a lot of big policy decisions. And I just felt that I could be using the skills that I was developing through law school and through my professional career in a way that could really serve an underserved population, and that was immigrants in my very own hometown. There are no other immigration attorneys in southwestern Minnesota, and people were having to travel like 150 or 200 miles to meet an attorney face to face. And I thought, if I could provide a service that would be more convenient to people, then I feel like I would be doing very impactful work. So I convinced my husband to leave his job and sell our home and uproot our life on the East Coast that we were pretty happy with, and move halfway across the country to remote rural Minnesota. And that's where I first started practicing immigration law through a nonprofit headquartered in St. Paul, Minnesota, but had a small office in Worthington. And did that for about 1.5 years until I applied for and received a fellowship to open a social enterprise. And that's where KIVU Immigration Law was born. So I guess that is my career journey in a not so small nutshell.
So wow, I learned a lot. What stuck out at me now, Erin, was that you seem to always have been asking yourself, what are my goals? What is it that I really want? What is it that I really want to do? And that seemed to have led you to make a lot of different decisions. But one of those decisions was to go to a state school and then to work hard enough so that you will be able to have opportunities to even even obtain or be considered for scholarships, which paid for your first year as in law school. And you weren't, the other thing, other than you're always sort of paying attention to, are you reaching your goals? Where is it that I really want to go? You weren't afraid to take risks. And I know that from working with you. However, it's a bit different when you're taking risks and you're single, but you took a risk and you had Tyler, who came along with you and who believed enough in your vision to take that risk to move across the country as well. I actually admire that, the ability to take risks. But yeah, so, but you have to weigh the costs, students, and you have to always sort of think about what it is. Am I doing the things that will take me towards my goal? And so that's something that stuck with me. Erin, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you again and seeing you again. I'm just so proud to know you. I think you're an amazing human being. So as we close, I want to, Erin, if you could let our audience know how they can either connect with you on social media, or shoot, if they may have, they may need your services in some way. How would our students, alumni, and parents, how would they connect with you?
Sure. So you can connect with me. My name's Erin Schutte-Wadzinski through my KIVU Immigration Law Facebook page, or through the KIVU Law website, which is kivulaw.com, KIVU.com. And there's lots of contact information on the web page and on the Facebook page. So I'm pretty reachable. I'm pretty responsive if you connect with me over Facebook or through the website. And I'm happy to be in touch with anyone who has questions about immigration law specifically, or about career trajectories and careers in law. So Pierre, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm honored to be part of your series, and I really appreciated the opportunity to reconnect with you.
Thank you, Erin. And so I want to say thank you to everyone for participating in our virtual career conversations. And again, we'll make sure that you all have Erin's Facebook information so that you can connect with her, as well as her website information when this goes out to the public. Erin, once again, thank you so much for participating, and take care. Good wishes to you.
Thank you.